Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So today we're going to start our experiments with art journaling. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching. Today's video is another one of those where I have absolutely no idea where we may end up. This is my first foray into art journaling. I know nothing other than what I've watched on YouTube and all the bits and pieces. I just want to play and see what happens. So I'm just going to show you how I'm starting off with my little journey here. So I've got this this pad of paper. This is the Fabriano, I think that's how you say it, mixed media paper pad. I bought this from Spotlight. I think it was like $30 or something like that, but I do know I got a discount off it. I had one of those vouchers. And this is for A4 size. The size I want to play with though is the size that fits into the Uniquely Creative album. So I have gone ahead and cut myself out a couple of pages. I do also have these pre-done ones. These came in the advent calendar last year and I'm actually really excited to have a go with these as well. They're really nice cardstock, like they feel good. I feel like I could do lots with them. But yeah, they came with the advent calendar last year and I definitely need to play with them. But I have also just cut out a bunch of these pages, punch the holes in them, and this is going to be my art journal. For me, when I'm creating, especially anything that's going to fold, warp, crease, anything like that, I really need it to be able to be pulled out and put back in again. I don't like to create in books. That said, when I was at Paperific a couple of weeks ago, I was in line with this lady and she was showing me how she decorated like proper old word books, and I thought it was amazing. She did such an amazing job with it, and I've seen similar things with Bibles and things like that. I don't have the ability to deal with it being stuck in the book, but that's me. So anyway, so we're going to use this piece of paper. I'm also going to use a bunch of things from the Create Happiness by Vicky collection from Stamperia. I have the rub-ons, I have the Ephemera, I also have the stamps, which I forgot to grab out, but now I've got. And I'm also just going to bring in, I think I want to use some of these bits. These are the journaling stickers from Denise from Luscious Labels. I think what I'm going to do moving forward, if I enjoy doing this, is I'm going to get a piece of unicorn sticker paper, not unicorn, clear matte sticker paper and print out a bunch of like just sayings using whichever font I want to use. I like the idea of having sayings on hand. I don't like using I don't like the idea of cutting it all out, and I don't like the idea of using my label maker or anything. I could use my Motex, same sort of thing. Depends on the idea. Anyway, I want to have a look at what I get in the ephemera before I 100% commit to anything. Let's have a look. I'm leaving it attached to the thing. I want to have a look at the big stuff. So this is on reasonably thick paper. It's got a bit of a sheen to it. So I've got boots, a camera, hot air balloon, some cups and a book, and then I've got lots of leaves and flowers and stuff. Okay, so what I'm thinking, I'm staying with this little sort of family for now. I feel like it's a way to start, and I can build to something else later. And you'll see different versions of this from me. I have so many die cuts and washi tapes and bits and pieces here that I should be able to use more of. So we'll just wait and see what happens. Oh, I got some stuff on there, but it's alright. Okay, so what if we did something like that? I'm just playing. I'm just seeing what sort of a pattern or a kind of thing I can make here. So maybe something like that, and then if we did like a lefty border and then left it up there and just sort of built the flowers out and then chucked in some leaves, and then there's some rub-on butterflies. Okay, I'm starting to get a thought along here, and we'll just sort of see how that comes along as we do it. But I'm just, whenever I'm creating like this and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, I just like to take a photo. So I'm just photo, and so I can come back. So if I've completely lost what I'm doing or I lose track of what's going on, I can come back to it. So that's sort of my plan. Alright, so this little background, do I want the whole thing or do I want just like a radiating? I think I want a radiating. Okay, so I want to use a bit of that reddy kind of colour. This is where I grab my oxides and just have a look at what kind of matches here. I think abandoned coral might be the right one. And I'm also just going to bring in a little bit of saltwater taffy. I feel like it's going to pare that down. And I'm just going to stay with a pink blending brush. Abandoned coral kind of fits across both colour families, so we'll just see what happens. So I'm going to start a bit heavy down here. Now, if you're someone that doesn't like brushes, if you prefer blending tools, that's fine. It's whatever you want to do. I'm just trying to be lighter on the edges and just get rid of anywhere I've got really harsh kind of blend lines. The more you blend it, the easier it'll get. And then just as we come up, so I'll bring in the saltwater taffy and just sort of lighten that edge and keep coming up. Now, you've heard me say before that paper is the big thing when it comes to both ink blending and foiling. This is where I struggle a little. This mixed media paper is a bit coarser. There's not a lot of smoothness to it. So it doesn't blend as nicely. It is going to leave some kind of harsh edges if you don't blend it like for a while. You're just going to have to keep going. And I feel like I'm getting there now. I feel like I'm getting there. Okay, righto. So I'm going to leave it like that. Yes, it looks messy. And it will. I'm trusting the process. This is something I've learned from watching lots of mixed media stuff. You have to trust the process. So then I think I'll grab the stamps. I'm just going to put this here. No, let's go with the rub-ons. We'll put those up the edge. Now, I love rub-ons. I think they're so interesting. They're just something that doesn't seem to get used as much. They're coming back, but yeah. What do I want to use? I think I want to use those dots. So I find it easier to cut these out. Also means I can cut it in half so that I don't have to use, I have to worry about accidentally making a mess, and so I can use like a bit of each. So I'm just going to cut that in half. So this one's going to come across this side, and obviously I'll put some flowers and stuff, and that one's going to come up that side. And because I'm going to put the flowers in, it'll kind of work itself out. It needs some water splashes. So obviously it's Distress Oxide, so it's going to do its thing. A bit of that. And that's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys can quite see that. It's picked up the texture of the paper towel a little bit. Something I love to do when I'm messy creating is to let the texture of the paper towel kind of come on it a little bit. It's just cool. And then we need a bit of the dark ones as well. And then I'm going to come in with some brown. Because I do want to make this a little bit vintagey. This is where I can come up a little bit so that the rest of the page doesn't get left behind. Okay. And then I think it's going to be walnut stain. Maybe not. Maybe it's espresso. This is what I'm also going to stamp in some of those extra bits. Yeah, it's espresso. So this is ground espresso. It's a beautiful brown. And then just as a teeny little extra, I'm just going to bring in some just white. So this is watercolour paint, but any kind of paint will do the job. It's getting watered down just like everything else, and it's still got, that brush has still got a little bit of the brown on it, so it's going to be slightly tinted. No, I need the white. Okay. Being very lazy. I usually have a cup of water in here, but I took it out and I haven't brought it back, so I'm basically just avoiding standing up and going and getting it. There we go. Here we go. And I'm getting the light ones. I like the little teeny tiny ones better than the big ones. I actually don't mind those slightly browny red ones. There we go. I'm still having just a little bit of trouble, so there we go. That's better. If in doubt, flick it out. Okay, I'm very happy with that. That looks really cool. So I'm just going to really quickly clean this up and then hit it with the heat tool. And then I just need to decide if I want to put some texture paste on here because, you know, how far do I want to go? Now this is something that's not necessary, but if you've got these big droplets that kind of aren't drying off, if you're impatient like I can be, I just grab a piece of paper towel and just dab them. It will, depending on which colour you're picking up. So for me, I'm picking up a lot of those white paints. It is kind of making them a little bit less stark, but I think it's okay. It's still giving me what I want, so I think it's alright. So let's really quickly hit that with the heat tool again, make sure it's completely dry, and then we can come back and do some stamping. Alright, so what I love about these stamps in particular is that they're not designed to be perfect. They're not designed to be stamps that give you a beautiful impression and is just perfection. They're supposed to be a little bit messy and a little bit rough and a little bit not quite right. So that's, I think that's the part of the idea of art journaling that I really like, is that nothing's perfection, nothing's perfect, nothing's wonderful. It's all slightly off, and I think I like that in that idea. So I'm just putting that teacup down again, just working out where I want some of these dots. So remember, we're going to come in with the dots up the edges as well, so this will all kind of work in together. Another one at the top. It doesn't matter if they're not straight or perfect or any of those things, because we're not supposed to be. And then I want to bring in some splats. So again, I'm sticking with the brown. I'm just going to add just a little bit of water. No, I'm not. I just wanted to water them down just a little bit. They just felt a little bit too inked. There we go. No, that's not what I wanted, but anyway. Again, not aiming for perfection with any of this, just having some fun. I'm going to bring in some of this text because I think it's gorgeous. And this will join in with the vintagey stuff that we're doing in a minute, so it'll join it all up. And what I love is that you can do that secondaries, like second and third gen stamping, and it will kind of give you such a cool and different look. So I'm actually going to stamp this off on a piece of scrap. I want the second gen popping out here. And I'm going to do the same thing again. So I want it to just sit out. There we go. And then there's another texty kind of one here that's sort of more print. I'm going to have that come right out there. There we go. Okay. I like that. There's still so many other stamps and stuff I could be using on here. Something I really like about that really wet kind of thing, I'm just picking it up, just some of that water. It's kind of just giving me messy vibes, which I like. Okay, I'm not going to do texture paste this time. I'm going to leave that for another day. We don't need to go all out in the first one. I do want to use a bit of the stencils though, so I'm grabbing... Do you want the book one, the splatter one? I was going to say the book one, the splatter one, or the, you know, the splatter one. So this is where you could use paste, and paste would look great. I just want to use a little bit of saltwater taffy up the top, and I want this to be light. I don't want to go too over the top. I just want to have a bit more colour coming up the side. Just see. Oh yeah. That's good. And then I'm just going to do the same sort of thing over here, just so it keeps coming up. I think I went a bit hard and heavy there, but anyway. Texture paste would have looked beautiful there, just for anyone that's interested. So I want those rub-ons. So now sort of feels like the time I should be sticking these down. Now these do come with a backing. I think I'm just going to use liquid glue because I want to be able to do some tucking and moving and all those sort of things. So I'll just use liquid glue for this one. But you can just stick them down as a sticker. Something that makes them really cool. And of course, as always, I will link everything down below. So if you were interested in grabbing some of these things yourself, you can do that. Okay. Now that's not 100% stuck, so I can still get in and under it to be able to put down this rub-on. So I want it to come out like that. Whoops. So you take off the backing piece. Just try not to get your hands too much on the sticker part. And then you pop it down where you want it to go. I'm just trying to make it so that it's not sitting right across any of the other dots that I've already stamped there. She's coming down a bit lower. There we go. Okay, and then this is just a rubbing tool, but you can use a like a stylus or a scoring tool or any of those things. They'll work too. Actually, I'll use this end. So you can use either the pointy end or you can use like the flat end. Maybe the flat end doesn't work as nicely. No, I don't like that one. Let's try one of these. And you basically just rub until you see it come off. Now the easiest way to check is to just lift it up and you'll see if it's transferred or not. These ends are actually really good. I was worried that one of them wasn't transferring, but it actually did, even though I didn't see the transfer change. There we go. And you can see now it's all gone off that one. So I'm doing the same thing with the side bit here. If I can find the other bit and where it went. There it is. Now I want this one to come up from sort of the side here. Oh no, it's going to fit. It's okay. No, it's all good. I thought it was going to be too short, but it's not. So again, peeling that back. Whoops. It does have a little bit of stick to it, so it is kind of good to pick up. But just try not to get your fingers all over the actual thing, because otherwise it'll the transfer can come off on your hands, and you don't want to do that. I'm just picking that up gently. So you can, I don't know if you can quite see, but there's a little bit here that hasn't quite transferred. I'll do a zoom so you guys can actually see what it looks like. So you can kind of see there how it hasn't come off the transfer sheet. So because I can just put it back down again and just keep rubbing, we can solve that problem. So just dropped it back down and just keep rubbing and then pick it back up, and now it's transferred perfectly. So that's the cool thing, you can kind of not quite get it right and still be able to pick it up and go back down again. Oh, I like it. Okay. Alright, so we've got the teacups down. Let's start stacking these flowers. This is where I'm going to pull in a pair of tweezers. I don't want my good tweezers because I don't want to get glue all over them. So I'm just grabbing a pair of my older set. This is why I wanted to go up here, because I wanted to be able to leave enough room to kind of pop along. That's a bit big. So I'm just getting in and underneath the die cut. Scratch that, but that's okay. I actually don't think it looks horrible, so it's all good. Now I know this isn't looking like it did before, but I think that's okay. I kind of like where we're running here. So I'm just trying to grab some of these small leaves. There we go. None of these are stuck now, so I can still play. Maybe the dots weren't the best idea, but done now. Only because they're getting hidden a little bit more than I think I thought they would. And then I'm going to pop in, and see, this is where I'm really happy that I picked that brown, because there's a lot of brown in the butterflies that's really pretty. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stick all of this down. So just sticking it all down with just some more glue, and I'll be right back. Okay, and then before I put the butterflies down, I just want to work out where I want to put my sentiment. Now, obviously, sentiments aren't required on pages like these, but I feel like it just makes a difference. I really love this one with the wishes come true. And that butterfly kind of then ties in with the other butterflies. And the cool thing here is that this is a matte photo, like a matte sticker. So it'll stick down and not quite disappear, but be pretty close. So I just want to see if I can have a bit of a look at what it looks like. Because I might just need to add a bit of brown behind it. Actually, it looks pretty good just like that. So it adds its own little bit of colour, and that butterfly is obviously a little bit less solid than the others, but I still think that looks beautiful. And then rather than putting another solid butterfly in the ephemera, there's a rub-on here with other butterflies. So I'm going to use these ones instead. So you get one sheet in this as well, and then I'm just going to cut that out. So I want that butterfly, but I'm also going to grab these leaves. So I'm just going around the butterfly and around the leaves, just trying not to get any of the others. I might need to use 2 sets of leaves here. I just want to pop one in so it's sort of coming out of there, and then I'm going to have that butterfly just down here. I like that one up the top there, and I'm just going to do a bit of a fold here, and rather than sticking down the whole thing, I want to just pop that up. I just want a little bit of dimension on that. So I'll go back and do this rub-on coming out from behind here. To try and hold it up and to give it a bit more solidity, I'm going to grab some of my foam squares. These are the Uniquely Creative ones, and I'm just cutting them into quarters because you don't really need a lot of foam here, and that way I can kind of balance out how much is where. I'm just going to come at it from below. Probably should have stuck these on first, but that's okay. There we go. So I've got that butterfly on. I'll put this one just down over here, just so it's sort of coming off the edge of the colour. You don't need to rub particularly hard with these either. It's just a light rub over the top. And then peel it back. Oh, missed. Okay, and then it's just missing something a little bit more. So I'm grabbing a really light brown. So this is Vintage Photo. And just distressing around the edges a little bit, just by dragging the ink across the edge of the paper. May just need to put a couple more little stampy bits on here. Oh, that's so pulling it together. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab a couple of these little kind of like postage stamps. They're very cute. I'm sticking with Vintage Photo now just to bring in a little bit of extra different colours. That was upside down, but that's okay. And then some of the wavy lines as well. And I'm just making sure this one's the right way up. If in doubt, that's what the extra bit of paper's for. And again, I'm not aiming for perfection, so it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone's going to sit there and go, oh, it's upside down. And then just as a last one, I'm just going to put in, there we go. Again, not perfect. Alright, well that's my first attempt at art journaling. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I feel like I've still got a lot of places I could go. I feel like it's just missing. It just needs one more flower. I could sit here and do more flowers forever. I won't, but I could. It just needs one tucked in here because it just looks a bit sharp. I'm just wondering if just for a little bit of extra texture. I'm not a glitter mad person. I think you guys know that by now. But I do love dimension. My glossy accents is. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of gloss just into the middle of some of these flowers that kind of look like they would have a centre. And then just some bigger ones. Whoops, that's a horrible one. So they kind of look like water droplets. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. And then when they're dry, they'll look like little droplets. So there we go. Like I said, first attempt at art journaling. I'm not sure if I love it. I'm not sure if... I definitely don't hate it. I think it's very pretty. It's just something I haven't ever played with before. I don't know if pink was the right colour to start with. But anyway, it's done now. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm interested in doing these as a bit more of a regular kind of thing where I'll just grab out a collection, grab out some colours and just, like this one, have absolutely no idea where I'm going, no idea where I'm starting, no idea where I'm going to finish, but just to play and see what happens. If you're interested in those kind of videos, please leave it down below, or of course you can find me on my socials. If you enjoyed this one, give it that old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will link all the products I used down below, so make sure you check them all out if you are interested. Hope you guys have an absolutely awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles.